In Genesis chapter 12, the God's call to Abram. The Lord asks Abram to leave his family's house parents and go to the land that will be shown to him. God says, "I will make you a great people, I will bless you, I will magnify you, your name, be a blessing." Here begins the great journey of faith of patriarch of Israel, Abram, under the promises of God. So, Abram leaves his city and his relatives, together with his wife Sarai and her nephew Lot, and all set out for Canaan. They cross the land until the holy place of Shechem, which is 65 kilometers from Jerusalem, in the Oak of Moreh. Some researchers believe that Moreh was an Amorite, chief of a tribe to whom it would have been dedicated a set of trees. Others believe to be a location in the plains of Moreh that had Tres sacred, because in the place there was cults, and is therefore described as holy. The Canaanites inhabited this land. In the Oak of Moreh in Canaan, God spoke to Abram, "It is to your posterity I will give this land." In that place Abram built an altar to God. Then Abram went east to Bethel, which means the house of God, being a Canaanite city between Ephraim and Judea, in sight of the present-day village of Beit, where the altar was made and the name of God was revered by Abraham. From camp in camp Abram went to Negev. The lack of rain in this region, which was a desert, compromised the crops, and this made Abram went to Egypt. During the journey to Egypt, Abram arranged with his wife Sarai, who would introduce her as your sister, because she was very beautiful, and Abram feared that the Egyptians would kill in order to be able to have his wife. At that time kings and pharaohs, if you liked of the foreigner's wife who arrived her city, annihilated her husband, to be able to marry his wife. No, it took a long time, and Sarai caught the attention of the mighty men of Egypt, who immediately took her to be house of Pharaoh. Because of this, God, to protect Sarai, he sends a plague to Pharaoh. When Pharaoh discovers that Sarai was Abram's wife, questions him and asks, "Why did you hide the fact that she was your wife, and said she was his sister? Now take your wife and go." Pharaoh expelled Abram from Egypt. So Abram leaves without knowing where to go, to move forward. But, for your faith, he wanders through the land of promise of God. For Abram waited for the city which has foundations, of which God is the creator and architect. We see that the Lord asks Abram for an act of obedience, that he leave his land, leave his relatives. This call of God to Abram has a grand purpose, to redeem and save humanity. Through Abraham's family would create a nation chosen and blessed who would do the will of God. Sometimes we have to separate from things, situations and people that can distance us from God, to be blessed. By doing so, this choice does not mean that we will go through trials. Abram was tested and failed for a moment, when you did not place all your trust in the Lord. As soon as he arrived in Egypt, fear, gave himself over to the spirit of deceit and lied. That's because he looked at the circumstances and not for the purpose of God, who was much greater for his life and their descendants. Will many don't we sometimes behave like this? So, we are challenged to live the faith, which often requires breakups. And in times of tribulation, we understand that we must consecrate each day of our life to God, worshiping and praising the Lord who strengthens us and remember who's in charge. Thus, God grants us His grace, taking care of your purposes even when we failed. And it shows that our life has a greater purpose. For we are called to reflect God's love, where we are, to bring hope, faith, and the message of Jesus Christ. Glory to God! Did you like it, content? Leave your like, share with your friends, and subscribe on the channel for more inspiring messages.